I've been waiting for a draft like this to come into my life. Oh, I've been waiting for a draft like this to make me feel alive. Yeah, I've been waiting on this. All right, if you can make it through that, you can make it to the mock draft. We got mock drafts coming your way here. Talking about day 2, rounds 2 and 3. The Texans own day 2. 5 selections scheduled to be taken in the second and third round for the Houston Texans. 34th overall, 58th overall, 79th, 89th, 99th overall for the Houston Texans in this upcoming second and third round, this day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Welcome to the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. S&L at 4 o'clock. A little warm up to get you ready. We'll go live about 5:30 and get you going all the way through rounds 2 and 3 of the NFL Draft tonight. So don't miss out on that. Before all of that, we got some mock drafts for you. Plural, okay? Plural. We'll go through 2. One will be a little aggressive, and then one we will be very aggressive. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on here with these mock drafts. Here's what I would say right off the bat. Daniel Jeremiah tweeted earlier that he believes the second round starts with a run on wide receivers and edge rushers. So wide receivers and edge rushers are what Daniel Jeremiah thinks are immediately coming off the board. That kind of leans towards me maybe getting that wide receiver early. I like some of the other players at wide receiver, but if you could snag, I don't know, one of the third or fourth best wide receivers in this draft, fourth or fifth best wide receiver right there at the top, maybe you'd do that. But the folks are here for a mock draft. Let's not waste too much time. Let's get into the mock draft simulator. We're going to take our time rolling through this one here, and we will get the Houston Texans on the clock. Now, Shedeur Sanders has been going in a lot of mock drafts to the Cleveland Browns at 33. That is a intriguing selection. I certainly would understand why the Browns would do that. They still need quarterback help. They don't have a long-term quarterback on their roster. I just don't know that they have to do this at 33. So a lot of the players I'm going to mention as potentially here at 34 are players that absolutely could be Cleveland Browns players. So if you're thinking about a running back, they could use a running back. You're thinking about a wide receiver, they could use a wide receiver. Hell, you're thinking about an offensive lineman, especially a guard. The Browns could use that. Their guards are very old and did not play well last year. They could also use a tackle. I know this says Shedeur Sanders, okay? I know this says Shedeur Sanders, but Ariante Ursary, the tackle from Minnesota, I feel like there's a decent chance. He's the 33rd overall pick. So this player right here, he's not, for me, the 34th overall pick. I would not pick him at 34. Ursary's a developmental guy. He's got to get some fine tuning together. He's not better than Blake Fisher. He's not better than Cam Robinson. So he's a guy that's a pick for the future. He's hanging around at 58. Maybe you have a conversation at 58. So I would not go Ursary at 34. Also, as far as defenders go, guys here at the top of the board that are defenders, they're not taking Mike Green. The off-the-field profile is not good enough for them to take Mike Green. Will Johnson, they're not going to take a corner. They invested in corner last year. This guy can't play in the slot because they've got Jalen Petrie. Donovan Ezeraku is one of my favorite players in this draft. They're not going to take a smaller edge guy like him. Not going to take a safety, not going to take a corner. Omar Norman, lots of player to consider. Probably could wait on him, especially if pass rushers and wide receivers and maybe running backs push guys down the board. But let's make a pick here. And really, to me, there's 2 positions that you need to focus on here at 34 if you're the Houston Texans. That's wide receiver and that's running back. And I really, really like a handful of these players up here at the top. I really do. I feel pretty strongly about this. I like Luther Burden. Okay. I really like Jaden Higgins. He's one of my draft crushes. I really like Travion Henderson. He's one of my favorite running backs in this draft. I believe he's the 3rd best running back in this draft. I like Kyle Williams. I like Quinshon Judkins. So there's options here at the position, I don't know that I want to really wait around for wide receiver. I could get on board with some of these running backs. I don't know if I want to wait around for wide receiver. As we talk about that, I want to get to the super chat from Panda. I was paneling. Guys, you can all blame Cody for saying the Packers would never take a wide receiver in the first round. Everyone give it up for Stoots, what wide receiver he wanted aside. Yeah, they did break a 20-plus year curse to draft a wide receiver, and that might have altered the Texans' draft plans a little bit, though I don't feel like they were in on Golden. They weren't in on Golden. They do need to be in on a wide receiver. I'm taking Jaden Higgins. I'm going to get the Iowa State wide receiver. You know what's better than one Nico Collins? Potentially two Nico Collins. And I'm going to go with Jaden Higgins. Now, I'm going to watch this board develop here. I'm going to be slightly aggressive, but not super aggressive. And if I feel like a guard or a running back is right in that range, may make something happen. There goes Travion Henderson. Still got options at running back here. Looking at these other teams, don't know that Denver would pass up a running back, but we're still kind of waiting this thing out here. Are we going to get a running back option? Yes, we are. So some wide receivers. Look at this. The wide receiver run happened. Kyle Williams, Jalen Knoll, Trey Harris. We might have even kind of started the wide receiver run. Jack Besh is off the board. We waited on running back. We didn't get Travion Henderson, but running back is still very much in the equation. So is guard at this point. Okay? So is guard at this point. So I would think about maybe an interior offensive lineman. Tate Ratledge, the top guard on the board. Everybody in this chat should know by this point my affinity for Tate Ratledge. Two-time All-American, second team and first team, two-time first team All-SEC, 3-year starter for the Bulldogs, would have been a 4-year starter for the Bulldogs. But could we wait on Tate? A couple of running backs. I don't like these rankings. I would tell you Judkins is better than these guys. Man, like some of these other running backs, I really like Brashard Smith. I don't know how the Texans get him with an 80-pick gap between pick 99 and pick 179. I don't know how they would get Brashard Smith. I'm having a hard time not taking Quinshon Judkins. And then calling the Baltimore Ravens about a trade-up and trying to use a little bit of that draft capital that I got to be a little aggressive. Not a lot aggressive, just a little aggressive. To me, it's between these two players, Quinshon Judkins, Tate Ratledge. Man. Got Jaden Higgins at 34. That's wide receiver. That's one of two top needs. I'm having a hard time not picking the SEC offensive lineman. I'm having a hard time not snagging this guy. And as I look here, the Commanders, the Bills, maybe the Chiefs, those are all running back spots. If I could get back to my friends here in New York, I could maybe go get that running back. I could maybe move around a little bit. I'm going Tate Ratledge. I like some of these other running backs. And it's not like Joe Mixon's going anywhere. Anytime soon. Okay? He's got at least 1 year, maybe 2 left in the tank. Let's go big fella Tate Ratledge. And no trade up for Tate Ratledge, so no mullet for Cody. So there is Tate Ratledge, corner, edge. There goes Quinshon Judkins. That was my fear. Couple of running backs. Ooh, the Bills getting, goodness, the Bills getting Cam Scatterbo sure is fun. A couple of names coming off the board here. There goes another guard that I really liked in Jonah Savanaia. There goes another running back. All right, let's see what the Texans have here. Lots of different options you could go. Here for the Houston Texans. You got an offer to trade back. The Pittsburgh Steelers want to talk to you. Move back 4 spots. The Jets want to talk to you. Get in the 4th round with the Jets. But let's just see what's on the board here. Omar Norman-Lott, pass rushing defensive tackle. CJ West, kind of a do-it-all defensive tackle. I'm telling you right now, the Houston Texans would have a hard time passing on Shamar Turner. Shamar Turner is a developmental defensive tackle to an extent, but he was also a very productive defensive tackle. He was good for the Aggies, and he was a productive and pretty athletic guy at the combine. So I'm having a hard time not thinking they're going to get at least one defensive lineman. Going to keep looking at these offensive linemen, though. Going to keep scrolling a little bit. Ozzie Trapillo. Here's a little fun fact about Trapillo. Trapillo's offensive line coach here this offseason, the offensive line coaching legend Dante Scarnecchia. Okay? Who's Scarnecchia's star pupil from his time in New England? Cole Popovich. So Ozzie Trapillo is a guy to keep an eye on. He's only a tackle. Jared Wilson at center is an intriguing player. Wyatt Milam, I don't love him at tackle. I don't love him at guard, but he's got some versatility for you. Now we're really getting down the line here. Again, I'm having a hard time seeing how D'Amico Ryans is not going to take Shamar Turner or Omar Norman Lott. I like Turner because I like the top-end potential, and he's played more football. Omar Norman Lott was a rotational player. We're going to try to get Jared Wilson at 89, help the offensive line, or we'll take a tackle. But Shamar Turner, D'Amico Ryans isn't getting shut out on day 2. There goes Trapillo. There goes Omar Norman Lott. Damian Martinez, Miami's running back, would have been an intriguing player. Okay. Jared Wilson would be fun here. We've got another pick here at 99. Some teams interested in trading back. Could do like old Nick Caserio and trade back yet again. Could get into the third round or the fourth round pretty easy in a trade back, but let's just see who's here first. So Terrence Ferguson helping you out there in the tight end room. Jared Wilson, playing right next to his buddy Tate Ratledge. Wilson was a one-year starter at Georgia, but he was productive, super, super athletic, probably the most athletic center in this draft. He competes right away. You got a developmental tackle in Charles Grant, got a developmental tackle in Anthony Belton. Now I'm just kind of taking a gander here down the list. Okay. I like Jared Wilson here. And then we're going to kind of try to move around a little bit here with 99. Still could use a developmental tackle. And if we could get one of those in sort of the 4th round, 5th round, that's something fun to do. All right, let's see what trade options we have here. 101, that doesn't do much for me. The Steelers have really been interested in moving up here. 123 and 156. Okay, they do that. Could we throw in our 4 next year? All right, the Steelers really want to come up into the 3rd. Can we get a 4 from them? Can we get a 4 from them? Let's see here. See if the Steelers take this. All right, there we go. So we're in the 4th. We're in the 5th round now. And let's see what the Texans can do with some of these extra selections we have here. So here's what we're still looking for. Developmental tackle. We're looking for a running back. And at this point, we're all at Karbach, and we're all hanging out. We're all watching round 4. Ooh, Devin Neal would have been fun. A couple of my tight ends coming off the board here. All right, right away, let's look at running backs. Ooh, having a hard time not going Brashard Smith. Let's take a look at the tight ends. All right, tight ends, we can wait on that. Take a look at the tackles here. Jalen Rivers, I know the Texans talked to him at the Senior Bowl. Logan Brown, the Texans talked to him at the Combine. Jalen Travis is actually one of my favorite developmental tackles. All right, 3 running backs here. Jaden Blue's the fastest, but he's got fumble problems. So Blue's the fastest, but he's got fumble problems. Brashard Smith's an excellent pass catcher out of the backfield. He formerly played wide receiver, and then he was awesome at running back for the Ponies. Jarquez Hunter's a little bit more of a plotter, a mauler, not as explosive as these guys. This is what we have so far. Jaden Higgins to help out the wide receiver room. Tate Ratledge and Jared Wilson on the O-line. Shamar Turner on the D-line. Pass catch and running back is really what I like. Blues fumble problems worry me. I'm going Brashard Smith. Going Brashard Smith, and now we got a little wait here. Is there anybody we'd want to trade up for? We got a bunch of picks here on the back end. We don't necessarily have to take these picks. There goes blue. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up here with the Vikings. I'm going to see if we could get something going here with the Vikings, some of these late round picks. All right, let's move up a little bit here. Let's find something fun on the draft board. How about another wide receiver? Huh? How about an explosive, one of the faster wide receivers in this year's combine, in Ty Felton? That'd be an intriguing player for anybody. Pat Bryant. We kind of got Higgins, so we want like kind of a different kind of guy. Look, if you tell me that the Texans would take a risk on Isaiah Bond in the 5th round, I would probably understand it. I don't believe because of off-the-field stuff. Prior to the off-the-field stuff that popped up in the recent weeks, that Bond is really on the Texans' board. But if you told me that Bond, they'd take a swing here, I just don't know that the prospect is the off-the-field prospect's clean enough. If they were playing 3 linebacker stuff, I'd say Jack Kaiser. I really like him. I like Ty Felton. Big Ten's leading receiver this past year. Got a little bit of a drop problem. Caught a lot of screen passes, but man, he's speedy. Is there anybody else that I just love here? Mitchell Evans would be nice, but I tell you what, I'm just going to say, hey, 5th round, let's take the risk. I'm just going to say take the risk. 5th round, super speedy. He was actually Texas's number 1 wide receiver for a lot of the season. Take the risk. Let's just take the risk. There goes my guy Jack Kaiser. See ya. Quinn Ewers going a little later than I expected to a team that already drafted a quarterback. That makes no sense. Pro Football Focus. Okay, some of these tackles starting to come off the board. Oh, screw you, Tennessee. I'm not trading with you. The Eagles, though, we know the Texans love trading with the Eagles. Let's move up a little bit. Let's go get my developmental tackle here. Or not. I accidentally did not press offer trade. Screw it. Let's keep rolling. Okay, guards. Deontay Thornton. We already took 2 wide receivers, though, so we probably wouldn't have taken Thornton. There goes my tackle in Jalen Travis. That's unfortunate. Okay. 3 picks left. There's my guy Fedoni. Hey, Fedoni. Brenningstool, Hawes would be interesting. What a great name. Tonka Hemingway. Okay, let's take a look at tight end. Let's take a look at interior offensive line. Let's take a look at tackle. Maybe even cornerback. Quincy Riley would be a fun player. I feel like I get a different tight end if I didn't take Fedoni here. Frazier late would be an intriguing one. Dipree, we know they met with Jalen Smith. Mac McWilliams is fun. There's Holland Pierce, who's definitely a developmental player. Knee injuries bother me with Fedoni. I like Hawes. I know he has a day 1 role for this team. He's a blocking tight end. Let's get Jackson Hawes in here. Let's just kind of let this thing roll on. I'll get to these super chats. I appreciate you guys. Zombie ate my broth. Thank you for the super chat. I'm so excited for tonight. Going to be watching with y'all from SC. Appreciate you for checking in. Appreciate you with the super chat. Zombie ate my broth. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do another one after this. We'll talk about this mock draft, and then we'll do another one. I'm not going to leave you hanging with just one mock draft, not when it's so easy to do 2. So this is the team up to this point. Jaden Higgins, Tate Ratledge, Shamar Turner, Jared Wilson, Brashard Smith, Isaiah Bond, Jackson Hawes, and 2 picks left, a 6th-round pick and a 7th-round pick. Okay. All right. Took a center, so not taking another center. Took a tight end. The Lane kid from Navy's an intriguing player. Tafuna on the defensive tackle spot's kind of cool. Jaquavius Marks is a pass-catching running back. We already kind of have that. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to do here. Bashaw Tootin was one of the fastest running backs at the combine. And I'm going to take Bashaw Tootin because I want team speed. And then I'm going to try to get a tackle. I want team speed. Is there a lineman that I like? All right, there'll be a lineman to take later. I can get Pierce on my next pick. Bashaw Tootin. Look at the production here. Over 1,000 yards for Vatek. 15 touchdowns. Super fast. Got a little bit of a fumbling issue. They didn't throw him the ball that much. So, this is maybe your Damian Pierce replacement, whereas Brashard Smith is your Dare Gumbawale replacement. But this is pure speed right here. Pure, unadulterated, fast speed. I'm taking Bashaw Tootin. And then whatever pops up here in this final pick, and then we'll get another one. I know I saw somebody say literally no way we draft Bond. I know we just took a chance here. 5th round, extra picks, go for it. Go for it. Go do that. So 5th round, extra picks, play around with it. Have some fun. I agree though. I want to take Ty Felton. The chat liked Bond. Pierce is just done then? Well, he's got to fight guys off. For his roster spot. And then my developmental tackle here. Holland Pierce is a gigantic human being. He's 6'8", 344. Trent Brown is the comp for him. Trent Brown was a late-round pick at 6'8", about that weight. Oh, you like a Jackson Slater out of Sac State. If we hadn't already taken interior guys, I would have taken him. But we're going with the big fella. You've got Trent Brown in the building to teach Holland Pierce how to be a big defense or big offensive tackle. Now, is a 7th-round pick going to turn into a franchise left tackle? No. Could they turn into a right tackle that you trust a little bit? Yeah. You could. That's what Derek Newton did back in the day. All right, let's see what the fine folks at the PFF mock draft simulator give me. Okay, they think the Texans should have taken an edge player, but they do like Higgins and Ratledge and Turner and Wilson. They don't like Brashard Smith. They do like the Isaiah Bond pick. It's a pretty good draft. We'll keep this one up, and then we'll look at it as we get it set up here. We'll look at it after we look at this second one here. So make sure we have all the settings correct when we get that second one set up. We'll get the second one going here in just a second. I want to get some of your questions, comments, your joys, and your concerns as well. Daniel with the super chat. I feel like it'd be sick to end up with Higgins, Ratledge, and an Ohio running back. It would be nice. I think this next mock draft, we're just going to be super aggressive. We're going to try to get up. We're going to try to get up the guys that a lot of people like. But yeah, two of these three would be cool. If you had Higgins and one of the running backs, if you had Higgins and Ratledge, if you had Ratledge and Judkins, you had Ratledge and Travion Henderson. Those would be great. Thank you for the super chat, Daniel. Boy, this is some great storytelling. Holland Pierce blocking Myles Garrett in the Super Bowl when he inevitably lands on the Eagles in 5 years would be legendary. Okay. I like it. I like the way you put it. All right, so let's Let's try to trade back. I tried to trade back a little bit in that one. Diablo moved out of that third round selection. Cody, did you hear the rumor that Nick tried to trade up 12 with Dallas? I guess for Booker. Yes, I would assume it was for Booker. And the Cowboys fielded calls and ultimately decided to stay and select the player that they had highest on their board, which was Booker. Went and got them another offensive lineman. Went and got them another Tyler. They have 3 Tylers on their offensive line now. So that was intriguing. So, yeah, they did try to trade up to 12, and I assume it would have been for Booker. Beast with a very off-topic question, but I liked it, so here we go. Off-topic, what's the best aftershave to use, Cody? I just splash my face with cold water, and then I have Duke Cannon's like winter balm or something. It's a little thick, but it's nice and cool. You don't like Burden? I'm not in love with it. I think there's some – I think there was some forcing him the ball last year. I don't know how he's going to handle not being the number one guy. So I'm not in love with Burden. Raiders moving up to 34. Would you do it? Probably not. This next mock draft, I'm just going to draft a running back at 34 and then kind of try to get a wide receiver. Nathan asks, any chance of Mason Taylor for Houston? That's the LSU tight end. Why not upgrade over Schultz? I would say he's very Schultz-esque, and I do think it's a good chance Schultz is not going to be on the Texans next year, but I don't know that Taylor sort of fits. Bubba says, if we traded up to 12 and did not take Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State, I would have shot the TV. I would have been a little disappointed with that trade up and not getting Warren as well. Thoughts on Taj Brooks? I think the athleticism scares some people, and I know he was good at the combine, but I think the on-field athleticism scares people. I think the workload scares some people, but late in the draft, everybody's going to have a little ick about him. Andrew, I think you're really going to like this next mock draft if you like Trey Henderson. Sean Gregg, Dameon Pierce legacy season loading. Maybe he will. Maybe it will be a legacy season for old Dameon Pierce. I just don't anticipate that they feel great about turning him into a key member of their organization. Just because when Nick Caserio was talking about Dameon Pierce the other day, he's like, yeah, he's really good on kickoffs. And then when he's had some opportunities, he's done well. It's like, actually, he hadn't. Gunnar Helm in the 4th, wouldn't mind it. Sean G asks, why do you think Nick Amanawari, the safety from South Carolina, fell? Probably some where do I play him question marks. And there's a lot of really good players went ahead of him. Like some of the spots that would have taken him took another good player. Nathan Winters. Cody, you've ignored Darius Alexander, the defensive tackle from Toledo, in all your mocks, and I'm in pain. I love him in a D'Amico Ryans defense. I do too. Darius Alexander's got 2 things working against him, though. He played at Toledo, and he's going to be 25 years old this year. And I just don't know if the Texans are going to make that type of investment early in the draft like this. So it works against him a little bit from that standpoint. I would not trade for George Pickens. Mike's book reviews. Trey at 34 would make my O-line no matter what attitude shut up for at least a round. Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. Will you opposed to Will Johnson? That's Will Johnson. He's probably the top corner on the board right now. I would, because I don't know where you're going to play him. I would not draft Ursary at 34. And I also believe Cleveland's drafting him at 33. Okay, let's fire up the second mock draft here. We'll try to answer as many questions as I go along with the mock draft here. Last mock draft, Cleveland at 33 took Shedeur Sanders, Jared Wilson, and Tate Ratledge. Sumo, you missed the mock draft we just did. That was your mock draft. So let's see what Cleveland does here. They took Luther Burden. Okay. Here's what I'm doing. I told you I was doing this a second ago. Travion Henderson to me is the third best running back in this class. It goes Ashton Genty, goes Omarion Hampton, and then it goes Travion Henderson. I'm picking Travion Henderson. And then I'm going to try to come up from 58 or from 79 and try to get us some wide receivers here. I'm Nick Caserio right now. I'm drafting Travion Henderson. I'm going to see how this thing goes. Shador Sanders to the Titans. Okay, sure. Try to get us some wide receivers. Okay. Don't want to jump too early here. Okay, I already had a couple come off the board. Let's see if we can get up here with Seattle. 8 spots is not too much to move. Could we make that happen with they're missing a 3rd round pick, by the way, for the Texans. Right? Yeah. I don't really want to use one of these. I don't want to dip into the 3rd rounders yet. Could do a 4th next year and like one of these late ones. Will they let me do that? Oh, you jerks. How about 2 late ones? Glad that worked. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receivers. Let's take a look at the interior offensive linemen. People love themselves some Kyle Williams. I mean, Kyle Williams would be fun. Jalen Noel would be fun. Noel replicates a little bit of what Christian Kirk does. I don't think it's bad to have 2 Christian Kirks, especially if you're telling Jalen Noel, hey, watch how this guy works because you're going to be him next year. I don't think it's bad. Obviously, we know about Tate Ratledge. We know about Jared Wilson. Probably getting a little deep here for those. So for me, it's really between Jalen Noel, Kyle Williams. I'm not a big Jalen Royals fan. Obviously, small school guy, so maybe the Texans are a little iffy on that too. Jack Besh is a fun player to think about for the Texans, but he's probably a slot guy. And I like a guy that can play outside a little bit more. I'm getting Kyle Williams. Outside, dominated Travis Hunter 2 years ago when they played. I know it's a small school guy, quick release off the line, fast. He had some of the fastest plays in college football this year. There goes Tate Ratledge. There goes Jonah Savanaia. So we're in a little trouble here when it comes to offensive linemen. No reason to be moving around now. Some of our O linemen have already come off the board. All right, so see, here's the danger. You get a couple of skill position players, and all of a sudden the big uglies trickle off the board. All of a sudden the big uglies will trickle off the board. And we're sitting here and we're looking at a Marcus Bowe. Or, Let's see. Yeah, this ended up the danger of not going offensive line early. Ended up not being very fun here. All right, Bowe's an intriguing player. Marcus Bowe can play inside in both the inside position and can play center. Boy, this draft turned into a disaster quick. Not getting the offensive line help that we want. When they take Bowe, let me take a look. Let me do a little gander here at Marcus Bowe's situation. Yeah, you know what? Bowe's not big enough. I'm going to take Wyatt Milam here. Here's why I'm taking Wyatt Milam. Milam played tackle West Virginia. He's going to play guard in the NFL, but he's a big, mean SOB. He's a big, mean SOB. So I'm going to take Wyatt Milam here. Gives us a guard, can play tackle in a pinch. I'm going Milam. There goes our tackle that we could have drafted in Trapillo. I'm going to get me another guard here. Okay, Fairchild's a little bit further down. So is Frazier. One of these two is my target. I'm going to have to move around for him. I mean, Wilson. I mean, we could do Wilson again. You know? Do Wilson. You want a developmental tackle. I don't like Cameron Williams. I would get why some teams would. Belton's a development tackle. I'm going to go Jared Wilson again. You know? I'm going to go Jared Wilson again and just see what happens here. There's a chance Wilson could play guard for you. I wouldn't want to do that, but there's a chance Wilson could play guard for you. Who wants to trade? The Jaguars want to trade. What can we do? Can we end some of that big? Oh, well, they got 104 as well. Look at that. Could we eat into some of that big gap that we have here? That big gap between 899 and 179. Let's move back a couple spots, pick up a pick. All right, I'm gonna get a guard here because I don't want to wait around. Up to this point, Travion Henderson, dynamic offensive player. Kyle Williams, hopefully a dynamic offensive player. And then two sort of project players on the offensive line, but gives you options. Gives you options. Here we are at 107. I told you I'm going to draft it. I'm going to go get a guard so we don't get screwed here. So I need somebody that can actually, I for sure know plays guard. It's between Frazier and Fairchild. So I'm going to take Fairchild, starter at Georgia. Let me take a look at Frazier real quick. Miles Frazier, he grades out better than Fairchild on a lot of people's boards. Also, Frazier's a top 100 guy for Dane Brugler. 3-year starter, right guard. NFL body, mauling play strength. All right, give me Miles Frazier. All right, so we went a little, D'Amico lost out on his defender here. We got a little weight on the board here. Still got to get that running back. This may be Jaden Blue territory. Could use a defender, maybe. Probably use maybe a slot receiver. A tight end late in the draft. Somebody just be on the back end of the roster. Defensive tackle at some point. Reminder, this is our team up to this point. Travion Henderson, Kyle Williams, Wyatt Milam, Jared Wilson, Miles Frazier. So I know it says tackle, but he's kind of a guard, actually. Jared Wilson, Miles Frazier. Is Jaden Blue available? Where'd he go? All right, so Blue's not available. There's Brashard Smith again. That's kind of boring. We already did that. What's available here? Is Tesla gone? Yeah, he probably is, right? There's Ty Felton. We didn't get him last time. Chase Lunt. The Texans talked to him, I think, at some point. We already got linemen, though, so let's forget that. There's my here's my speed wide receiver, Deontay Thornton Jr. Here's my speed wide receiver. Okay, now he's just pure, unadulterated, outside badassery. What are we thinking here? Can D'Amico get him a defender? Having a hard time figuring this out here. I wonder what our trade back looks like. Colts, you can stick it. Our old friends, the Eagles, want to make some help us make some decisions. Would they do that for us? Yeah, let's do that. Let's let the Eagles let's let the draft make some decisions for us. Deontay Thornton Jr. some underwhelming stats. Yeah, he only has a handful of touchdowns. Tennessee's quarterback play had some issues. Am I remembering Thornton right? Did he only have a handful of touchdowns? Guess we'll find out here in a minute. All right, so a lot of these offensive linemen are here. Mitchell Evans is a really fun tight end option. Quincy Riley would be interesting. There's Fedoni. Could wait on tight end. You know what? I'm going to take Mitchell Evans. Run blocker, receiver, a little bit of both there from him. And then I need a slot receiver. Thornton's an outside guy. I'm going to lie to you if I tell you I know a lot about either Mumfield or Lane. DK, Badger. I think I'd probably just wait for Jimmy Horn, right? I'm not loving the draft board here. Did we get our running back yet? No. Henderson, Williams, Milam. Well, this draft is awful. Khalil Mullings. He's a former linebacker. What are we doing here? You know what? This guy's better than 215. Give me Jordan James. Give me Jordan James. And we'll kind of let the board dictate what we do next. Try to get a DB and maybe a defensive tackle. We've screwed D'Amico here. No defensive players for him. Now, mind you, they've got a lot of tight wide receivers on the roster, and they like some of these guys. I don't, but they like some of them. Walt likes Kyle Monagai. Monaguy's a fantastic player at Rutgers. Smaller, he's not an athlete, but he would be the new Daria Gumawale. And what's available here for us? Probably not taking another center. All right. Jimmy Horn Jr., there's our slot receiver. And then we'll just let 255 keep going. I got a feeling we're going to like the first draft more because we liked the offensive linemen more. This is not a bad offensive line crew. You know, Henderson, Kyle Williams helps your offense, obviously. Like, this isn't bad. Like, if you had these three guys, like, you'd be okay. And then, you know, these guys help out your offense a little bit as well. Horn's your inside guy. Steve Smith loves Jimmy Horn Jr. Loves him. I think he put him in his top 20. I think he was at like 12. Mac McWilliams would have been my pick there at the end. It quite literally does not matter what we do here. This is the absolute last pick of the draft for the Texans. Almost the last pick overall. There's got to be somebody in here whose name I roughly recognize. Let's get an interior guy. Cam Horsley for D'Amico. Sure. Okay. Again, the board liked Mike Green. They didn't like the Travion Henderson pick, but they liked Kyle Williams and Milam and Wilson. Didn't love this. They hated that pick. A C+. Okay. In the chat, Mach 1, Mach 2. This is Mach 2. This is Mach 1. I got a feeling this is going to be everybody's favorite. Jaden Higgins, offensive lineman in the in the top 3, and then some just, some scratch off tickets here. Mach 1, Mach 2. Mach 2 here, you get the running back. Now, when you go running back early and you trade up for a wide receiver, you don't get a chance at offensive linemen. So you got to kind of, okay, Milam, he's playing guard. Wilson, sure, he's a center. Frazier, okay, you got to wait on him. And then you get a couple more names, a couple of other scratch-off tickets. Yeah, everybody likes mock draft 1. Everybody likes mock draft 1. See, that's the danger. That's the danger of the exercise a little bit, like if you go and you feel like I got to get Travion Henderson and you don't move up for a wide receiver, you don't move up for a running or offensive lineman, you might lose those guys. Now, again, the mock draft simulator is going to do some weird stuff sometimes. Like that most recent one we did, they had the Titans take Shedeur Sanders. Like, that's obviously not going to happen. But it's a dangerous game to play if you don't get offensive linemen that you really feel good about. If you really feel good about them. So now if you want, and look, and I didn't dip into any picks next year. Like, I didn't dip into the fact they have a second rounder next year, a third rounder next year, a fourth rounder next year. I didn't do that. So if we wanted to keep trading up to make sure we got, 3 picks in the second round, that's possible. It seems unlikely that the Texans would do something like that, but it's possible. And Clinton brings something up. Running back's pretty deep. You can't spend that 34th overall pick on it. And I understand that. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of that's an exercise to show you how this thing could go. And again, I have a hard time thinking D'Amico Ryan's getting shut out on defense. So Shamar Turner in the 3rd round, or Omar Norman Lott, or TJ Sanders, one of those defensive tackles. Like, I just feel like that's probably going to be the case. That's probably going to be the case when you get on the board in the 3rd round and there's some defensive opportunities there. So I'd like to move up more than just a handful of times, but you don't want to cauterize some of that stuff that you got last year or they have coming up next year for this year. Obviously, 2025 players help the 2025 team more than a 2026 draft pick that you spend in 2026. So I also wonder if you could trade one of those picks for a wide receiver. If you traded 79 for Jameson Williams, that would solve a lot of your problems. That would solve a lot of your problems if you traded one of those draft picks for Jameson Williams, if he was available, the Lions wide receiver. So that's just an exercise. I do not believe they'll take Luther Burden at 34. If they go wide receiver, I believe it'd be someone kind of like Higgins. I actually feel like there's a pretty good chance they just go ahead and take an offensive lineman at 34 and don't worry about, guys getting snatched off the board in front of them and stuff. I wonder what would happen if we just took Ratledge at 34. Like, could you get another offensive lineman? And could you get another offensive lineman? And then, this is the most popular, like, the Texans should do this pick. It's Ariante Ursary. He's the tackle from Minnesota. And he cannot help them as much in 2025 as he could in 2026. There's a chance Ursary is a really solid left tackle for you in 2026 and beyond. But You just can't. You can't. You can't spend that 34th overall pick on somebody who's not helping you in 2025. That's what I would say. Everyone wants another mock. How about a think outside the box mock? Well, I feel like I've kind of thought outside the box. Cody, you think Luther's a nice fit for us? I don't. I think he's got some how do I use him issues. I think he's got some how do I use him issues. And I think there's probably some like mentality issues that don't quite fit. Mock on Pro Football Network. Do they do the autofill? Do they autofill the first round like Pro Football Focus does? I'm not going to sit here and click through the entire first round as it was. Yeah, no, they don't have it filled. Oh, yeah, they do. I guess it does autofill. Okay. The people want one more. I'll do a fast one here. We'll do a fast one. Do one more. The people want one more mock draft. I mean, I'm not going to get to mock drafts with you again until February, so why not? Why not? Okay. Right off the bat, the Patriots can stick it. Ooh. The Rams can stick it too. All right, what are we doing here at 34? What are we doing here at 34? What are we against? Let's just take Tate Ratledge and call it a day. Is everybody against that? I know he's 63 on this board. Let's just take the offensive lineman that we all like and then see what happens. Okay, we've done it with running back first. We've done it with wide receiver first. Let's just take the offensive lineman that I like and see what happens. There goes that edge and wide receiver run. Okay, so you're hanging out here. More edge players, corner, another edge player. This feels pretty realistic to how the how this second round could shake out here. Okay, there go a couple of our guards. Yeah, the Lions can get bent. Thank you. Yeah, stick it, Tennessee. Although Tennessee at the top of the first round. So here's a fun exercise. We took Tate Ratledge, and if you're looking at the best available players, Trey Harris is available. You got some defensive tackles. You got a running back in Quinshon Judkins. You got a wide receiver in Jaden Higgins. So I like Trey Harris a lot. He's one of my favorite wide receivers. I actually feel like there's almost no chance Higgins is here, but I do feel like there's a chance Trey Harris is here. So boom, Trey Harris. Let's see if some of these, okay, I'm telling you right now, Alfred Collins gets to 79. We're going to take Alfred Collins. One of these defensive tackles at 79 is going to be our pick. I jinxed it. No, I didn't. Stick it. All right, 79. Still need a running back. What's the running back situation look like? Giddens and Martinez would be worthwhile picks at 99. Oh, Dylan Sampson's not supposed to be here. I'm going to take Alfred, but Dylan Sampson at 99, we're doing that. I said I was going to take Alfred. I need to take Alfred. Also, we'll love Alfred Collins. We will love Alfred Collins. I will enjoy covering him, and I think Texans fans will enjoy watching him. I didn't know Besh was still on the board. I probably would have taken Besh. No thanks, Kansas City. Ooh. Elijah Arroyo. Ooh, fanning myself here. How about a big SOB that could catch the ball and also block a little bit for you? Still got another pick here in the third if we want to go get a running back. Then we got to wait. Then we got to wait a long time. I kind of like Arroyo. I like Arroyo. There's our luxury pick. You don't necessarily need that, but there's our luxury pick. This is an insulting offer from Atlanta. Can I have their first round pick of 2027? I don't love it. A 2026 seventh? Man, who cares? Two spots? Yeah, 2 spots. Oh, Shamar Turner. 103, pick up 197. Yeah, sure. Got to wait another day if we do that. We can still get a running back, though. All right, no more of these trades here. I'm getting a running back. Again, Dylan Sampson's not supposed to be here, but he's here, and I'm taking him. I'm taking Dylan Sampson. SEC leading rusher, great speed, maybe a little bit smaller than most people would like. I'm taking Dylan Sampson. I can't not take Dylan Sampson. God dog it. Ratledge, Trey Harris, Alfred Collins, Elijah Arroyo, Dylan Sampson. 179, 197, 216. So we still got that long wait. Hey, keep going. What are we doing? Why did we stop? Is there anything anybody wants to trade up for? It's nothing that's really kind of feeling like you got to trade up. Another offensive lineman. Jalen Travis. What's the interior line situation look like? Not great. What's the center situation look like? Monahan, can maybe wait on him. Tackle. I'm going to try to screw the Chiefs. There's my friends, the Eagles. I'm going to try to get into this pick here for the Eagles. Come on, Philly. Feels like a lot, right? All right. Guess not. Then we wait. Okay. Thanks. Then we wait. You know what I could really use here? It's that guy. All right, Miami. All right, hold on. This is a Cody luxury pick. It's a Cody luxury pick. Remember, we got Trey Harris, very clearly outside wide receiver. Let's go get my guy, Isaac Tesla. Come here, Miami. Okay, we got to make up 20 picks worth of value. 197 should do it, right? Screw you, Miami. Okay, bam, 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 and bam. Huh? All right. I'm on the clock, and I'm getting a big slot. Isaac Tesla, super athlete. Okay, one of the most athletic players still on the board here. Now, are we going to have some trouble blocking people? Probably. So we only got one offensive lineman. But we got the offensive lineman everybody likes. Tay Ratledge. Probably need to go O lineman here. And we picked up a 7th round pick next year for moving back 2 spots. Could really use a center maybe. Bryant hates this. This is a joke. I'm sorry you feel that way. I still feel like people are going to like mock draft 1 the most. Still feel like you're going to like mock draft 1 the most, even with this one all said and done. A little bit of a wait here. Okay. Got to go O-line here. Got to go O-line. Just get some developmental projects in here. Any of the centers that I like on here? No. God, no. Willie Lampkin. The Texans would never draft Willie Lampkin, but he's such a fun player. This guy was a Senior Bowl standout. Really impressive. Super small school. They probably would not take him. Anything over on defense? I already got a defensive tackle. Again, these late ones don't matter that much. I'm going to get me a Florida tackle. Big guy. If Lampkin's there at 241, I'm picking Willie Lampkin. And you're going to laugh at me. You're going to laugh at me. I don't like Connor Williams. He should still be in school. He was awful at Texas. He left on traits, basically. I don't like Connor Williams. I'm picking Willie Lampkin, everybody. I'm picking a 5'11 center/guard. And 5'11 might be generous. He's probably actually 5'10. But this SOB took care of business in the ACC, and he did a really good job at the Senior Bowl against some big-time defensive linemen. We're getting Willie Lampkin. 2 guards there at the end. This is a fun draft. I think number 1, because of multiple offensive linemen, is still going to be a lot of people's favorites. Okay, this is the draft here. Ratledge, Trey Harris, Alfred Collins, Elijah Arroyo. We probably screwed ourselves here with the Arroyo pick. Dylan Sampson, Tesla, and then a couple of project linemen that probably will have a hard time making the squad. And we got a bonus 7th round pick. Draft 3 or draft 2 or draft 1, which I think is still everybody's favorite. I like 1, 3, 2 in that order. I like 1, 3, 2 in that order. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. I like 1, 3, 2 is the order. Benji says you fucked up midway on number 3. Yeah, probably shouldn't have taken Elijah Arroyo. Probably should have taken an offensive lineman. If you swap out Elijah Arroyo, if I don't draft Elijah Arroyo and I do draft Miles Frazier, do you pick Mach 3 instead? Like, if I get you 2 linemen instead of a tight end, I think you probably pick Mach 3. Yeah, so I jacked up with the Arroyo pick. I got drawn off sides there. So, okay, there's some mock drafts for you. Just a fun little exercise. Appreciate everybody watching. 500 people. Wow. I didn't realize we had 500 people watching. Thank you. S&L, 4 o'clock. We're going to get you ready for rounds 2 and 3. Talk a little bit about how yesterday went down, why the Texans did what they did, and then get you ready. And then, of course, 5:30, we'll start getting you ready for rounds 2 and 3 and day 2 of the NFL draft. So that's what you have for you. So there's a couple mock drafts for you. I got some work to do to get ready for the show, so we're going to go work on that, knock that out. And we end the live stream the same way each and every time. Okay? This is my hope for you. Oh, by the way, Karbach tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll see you there for round 3, or day 3, round 4, 5, 6, and 7. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. We'll see you at 4 o'clock S&L. If you can't make it 4, we'll see you at 5:30. And then 5:30 all the way through the end of tonight's drafts. So thank you again, everybody, for watching. We had an incredible night last night. We're going to have a huge night tonight. Thank you for watching the video overnight. I really do enjoy doing this, and it is very fun to do it. And I can only do it because all of you folks take the time to watch and comment and thumbs up and are members of the channel and send super chats and send super thank yous. And it's all very much appreciated. And I hope that my gratitude always comes through. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hip-hoppity, dip-doppity-doo.